Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Shikhar Chadha, who is the founder of the Tarzan Way, a travel and tech-based
Yes.
startup. Shikhar has been featured in multiple forums such as Your Story and Story Sutra. Hi Shikhar, welcome to ELI.
Hi Priya, thank you for inviting me. Wonderful initiative on your end to motivate the youth in order to focus on entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship and other such factors. Really glad to be here with you.
Shikhar, I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Shikhar. I am the founder and CEO of the Tarzan Way currently. I have been running this travel and tech-based venture since past 2 years. And no, this is not my first venture. My first venture was back in 2016, and though it ran for 1 year, but it was a great journey from 2016 to 17. And then I started the Tarzan Way. We are building an AI-based software, a travel and AI-based software, basically a platform where users can actually find a suitable travel experience, something like living like a villager for a few days, or probably learning the traditional handicraft of Kutch, or probably living like a fisherman and so on. Or our users can actually fill a small questionnaire, and through artificial intelligence, we offer our users detailed travel plans, bookings in a click, and 24/7 live support while you're traveling. A lot of focus is on changing the customer journey of a traveler. So we try to impart in transparency and flexibility in travel. Adding to that, we are creating multiple amount of unique experiences and activities for our experiences. That's why we are collaborating with local communities around the country. There are like around 70% of India's population currently lives in villages. And we are trying to focus on organizing that and creating employment opportunities through tourism. Even right now, at this very moment, we are creating self-employment opportunities in 120 plus families, over 40 plus villages around the country. So yeah, that's pretty much a bit about me and the Tarzan Way.
So, Shikhar, tell us in detail about what is the scale of operation right now. What are the different areas,
Okay.
verticals you are working?
Of course. So first of all, we are offering as a traveler, you can enter a website and you can find a suitable travel experience. That, as I mentioned, can be something like life of a villager or learning the traditional handicraft of Kutch. It can be travel and learn martial arts. So there are a lot of unique experiences on our website.
Hmm.
Right now, users can find search for more than 100 plus experiences. That is number one. That is one side which we're working on. Or our users can actually fill a small form, or fill a small questionnaire, around 4 to 5 questions, and on the basis of that we prepare a highly tailored plan for the users, a very detailed tailored travel plan for the users. We have multiple unique activities, and main point is that we offer transparency. So if the user, to give you an example, if you have ever been to Delhi, so there is this place called Old Delhi, right? An Old Delhi tour on Airbnb or Philia, anywhere, it costs for more than 2,500 or 3,000 rupees. Okay, the
Mhm.
reason for this cost is that there's no transparency in travel. Okay,
Okay.
we offered the same experience to one of our users, same activity, for just 50 rupees, right? That to the rickshaw fees, right? So people are charging so much for so less, and travelers are even paying for it. Okay, so before I tell more about our operations, let me talk about the problem statement, the problem which we are working on,
Hmm.
right? Right now, in this 21st century, there is so much work involved, and there's so many, there are high running lives. So people look for different things. People look for escape and travel. Okay, travel is not just about vacation anymore. It's more about experiencing different realities. Okay, and as a traveler, you might want to do different things. Probably you wanna, go for an exciting road journey. You wanna go for a thrilling train journey, or probably you want adventure. You want culture. You want wisdom. You want art. You want to meet local people, and so on. Right? What market has to offer you? Either you can opt for a travel agent, that is on the number one,
Hmm.
or you can do self research. So these are two broad categories. When you go for a travel agent, you got to take a pre-prepared package. Okay,
Okay.
and when you got to take a pre-prepared package, there are certain pros and cons which are involved. The pros are that there's no hassle, there's safety, there's security. But the cons, there are a lot of cons in this scenario. The cons are that, number one, there's no flexibility. Okay, imagine yourself traveling with your spouse, or probably imagine yourself traveling with your wife, or probably traveling with your parents, or probably with your friends. So they're going to offer you the same package with very little amount of scope of customization. Okay, that is number one. Number two, it's not personalized according to you. The activities are not personalized specifically for you. Okay. Number three, there's no transparency. Okay, you go to Make My Trip, you go to Booking.com, you go to Yatra.com, you go to TravelTriangle.com, you never know what you're paying for. In turn, we never have a favorite company to travel. Whatever we can find cheapest, we just go with the cheapest. Okay. Another factor which I'd like to add here is, so if you go to Travel Triangle, or a platform like that, that is an aggregator platform. It brings together different destination management companies. Okay.
Okay.
Those destination management companies might also deal with other destination management companies. Like those destination management companies might deal with different suppliers, local suppliers. Okay. So there are like two or three middlemen which come in which come in between while when you're taking the travel package. Okay, that raises the travel cost by 20 to 30% each time. Okay, so on an average you are paying approximately 45% extra for a travel package. Okay? So that is one main reason why people are so hesitant for paying for specifically for travel. Okay, a package on Make My Trip. If you take a package on Make My Trip, or you actually do all the bookings individually from Make My Trip, that package is going to be much cheaper than the prepaid package which you're going to take. So these are some little things which we saw and noticed. On the other hand, you can do self research. That means you can probably talk to a friend who lives in that place where you're going, or probably you can research, read blogs, guides, or whatever you want, and then you do your bookings from different 5 6 platforms. Okay. In this case, there's transparency, there's flexibility, and you're doing things according to what you want to do. Okay, but the cons are, there are a lot of cons here. Yeah, there are a lot of cons here, which include number one, that is a lot of hassle. Okay, travel consists of hundreds of variables. Okay, that leads to a lot of problems. That leads to a lot of a lot of stress. A lot of travel planning time is a lot. There's a lot of time spent on travel planning. Okay, adding to that, there's no security. So when security, everything, whatever you're booking, whatever you're doing, you are accountable for the same. Okay, so there's no security as such. Moreover, in this specific scenario, there's no personalization. There's a biased information available online. So you read guides, you read blogs. You're always going to be finding certain amount of biased information. And lastly, there's too much information available these days. When we talk about back in 1998, 1999, there was very little information. So a lot of hotels came up, a lot of, a lot of, in 1998, 1999, 2000, in this particular time, the aggregator platforms like booking.com and Make My Trip, they came up. Right? When they came up, along with that people thought that probably we can add our hotels on this platform and we'll become very rich. So a lot of hotels came up. And right now, there are so many hotels in one place to choose from that it becomes very difficult for user to make decisions. Okay, the travel journey or the customer journey of a traveler has not changed since past 20 years. Okay, we are trying to focus on changing that. Either you can on our platform, either you can find a suitable travel experience, as I mentioned, living like a villager or learning the traditional handicraft of Kutch, probably a road trip or something. So a lot of this, right? Or you can actually create an experience on your own by filling a small questionnaire, getting an itinerary in seconds, getting the bookings in a one click, and 20% live support while you're traveling. So that is specific things which we're working on. Talking about the current COVID-19 situation, so COVID-19 situation has taken a major toll on the travel industry. Okay, but we are actually focusing on some things which are which are we're trying to implement some things in order to tackle the COVID-19 situation. Number one is recreational vehicles, RVs or caravans. Okay, so there's an entire van kind of thing, or probably you can call it a camper van. You can call it a motor home. So these are like vanity vans for celebrities. Okay, in this you can eat, you can sleep, you can travel, you can relax, whatever you want to do. So these you work on RVs, and RV is a mode of transportation. Okay, when we talk about the COVID-19 situation, the major issue is transportation, because that is where a lot of social distancing is avoided. So we're focusing on self-driven cars and vehicles, and then you do not need hotels as well, because you can cook, eat, sleep in an RV only. Okay. Secondly, we're focusing on slot bookings. Okay, so whatever activities the traveler is going for, we're focusing on slot bookings. You can book early slots, half an early slots, 2 early slots, and so on. So that will be focusing on social distancing. Then we are major, adding a lot of unique destinations which have been green zones since forever. Okay, which have had no inkling of coronavirus at all. So we are adding them as well to our database, and we are actually promoting them. Lastly, we are building a touchless CRM for our suppliers, for our hotels, accommodation activities. We are focusing on touchless CRM, so they do not need to touch while doing payments or check in, check out, whatever you want. So these are a few things we work.
Interesting. So there is one statement I think that that is relevant. Uh, the statement you mentioned is the travel experience has not changed since last 20 years, and
Of course.
now it is changing. And this is not the first time I have invited the founder of a travel startup. I think I had another lady who is building startup which is uh, you know creating eco-friendly travel, creating travel eco-friendly and vice versa. So uh, the way I see this is the travel preferences or the way people travel is changing, and COVID-19 has also played a big role in that. So would like to ask you what lies in future, since this is changing in a big way. What are the things that will gonna come up in future when it
Okay.
comes to travel?
There are a lot of changes when you talk about future. Okay, so first of all, a very major change, and the first change that I can see coming is that, so right now people like to flaunt. Okay, when you travel, you like to show off, flaunt. So right now people flaunt like, okay, I went to Bali, okay, I went to Thailand, okay, I went to Malaysia, right? After the COVID-19 situation, and within the, even while during the COVID-19 situation, this is something which is going to be avoided a lot, because people are not going to be traveling international for next 15 to 18 months at minimum. Okay, domestic travel has already started. We have started receiving inquiries as well, but international travel is one thing which is going to be at a toll. Okay, so people are going to be traveling local. Okay, they're going to go local. A lot of local traveling is going to come up. So that is one thing, that there's going to be a major spike, major rise in domestic tourism, and and a small, a major decline actually when we talk about international travel. So that is number one. Secondly, okay, so that is number one. And again, the COVID-19 situation, the coronavirus situation is never gonna go. Okay, it's gonna stay here for at least a long time now. People are gonna be normalized to the idea of living with social distancing and living with coronavirus, and it's gonna slowly change. Okay, so as I mentioned, international travel is gonna start within 15 to 18 months. Domestic has already somehow started, and then again, it'll be starting in another, 3 to 4, or approximately 5 months or something. So people are gonna go domestic, people are gonna go local, they're gonna go to different destinations. Okay. Secondly, it's not gonna be just about destinations anymore. It's gonna be a lot about the kind of experience you're having. Okay. You can go out and watch a movie and have a barbecue movie night, probably in a car or something, near your home for one night or something. That can also be an experience. That can also be travel. Okay. So it's gonna be a lot about different experience you're having rather than only the destination which you're focusing on. Moreover, there's going to be rise in two types of things. One is road trips, and second is caravans, RVs, and motorhomes. So that is there's going to be heavy rise on that. People are going to go, self-driven cars. They're going to sleep in their RVs or something. So, and RVs has already started receiving a major spike recently only.
Hmm.
Okay. Moreover, I feel that along with that, there's going to be a very interesting thing which might happen. That, so right now we are living in times of globalization. Okay, if there's a company in, let's say, America, okay, and now, since work from home is such a new normal, they are not going to be hiring people just from America. They can hire people from India, they can hire people from, Spain, Bahrain, Argentina, all the countries. Okay, being in India, I can also hire people from abroad. Okay, now this major barrier of coming to the office or, working in the office is gone. Now people can not just work from home, they can work from anywhere they want. They can go anywhere they want. They can live anywhere they want. Okay, and they can work for wherever they want. Because since there's rise in technology, there's rise in work from home culture, there's rise in so many things. So people are now, a person living in the states or a company in the United States can hire a person in India. Okay, a company in China can not China actually right now. A company in Japan, a company in Argentina, a company in, all the other countries can hire people in India. And another reason for this is that the labor in US or Canada is much expensive as compared to India, right? So the salaries in those countries are a bit expensive than India because India is a cheaper country. Okay, so they might be focusing a lot on hiring from India. So once they start hiring people from India, no one can actually continue work from home for a long time. Okay, so either I can work from home for, months and years or something. So
Hmm.
I prefer, probably finding a cafe near my house, or probably finding a WeWork, or, probably some co-working space near my house.
Hmm.
Okay, I might be bored of that as well. So being one person who's an adventurous person, I'll think, okay, why not go to, some place like Gokarna, a very quiet place for 4 months or 5 months, and I'll work there and I'll come back soon. Okay, so this is something called digital nomadism. Okay, so people are going to start working as digital nomads. They're going to be traveling from one place to another, living, for 2 months or 3 months and working there. Right? They probably, I can just rent a flat in a place like probably Himachal Pradesh somewhere, because I like the place, I like the mountains. I want to stay there for 1 month or 2 months, and then I will be back. Right? So digital nomadism is gonna be a very new culture. So you can be one person who's living in Himachal Pradesh, whose home is in Delhi and works in the United States. Okay,
mm,
something like that, because this is gonna be the new normal. And lastly, I believe that there's gonna be a lot of focus on touchless CRM, touchless facilities, online payments, and so on. And adding to that, virtual experiences, virtual reality experiences can be, something which people may prefer, virtual experiences. But I would personally not say that it's going to be a major rise or something, but people might prefer virtual experiences, virtual reality, and so on. So they can see things while being at home. So yeah, these are a few points from my end for the COVID relief.
okay. Okay, Shikhar, the discussion on this topic is endless. I
Of course.
now focus on the other aspects of you being an entrepreneur. Would like to focus on the personal side. Would like to ask, when did you think of becoming an entrepreneur?
Okay. So I mean, honestly, I do not have any specific aspiration to start as an entrepreneur from the beginning. To be very honest, a lot of people say that they thought in school or whatever. I know I did not have that. In fact, a lot of people say, okay, I was doing this, then I got an idea, and then I became an entrepreneur. So that was not the case with me as well. Okay, for me, it's always been about the journey. Okay, randomly, I was in college, and one of my friends told me, okay, let's start this new project, a backpacking hostel. Let's start this thing called the Tarzan House. Okay, name was decided later on. He said that let's start this something like this. Okay, and then we started our first venture that was in the hospitality industry. That was the Tarzan House. It was a backpacking homestay with a space for around 60 to 80 people who could stay and work. And people, travelers used to come and stay there for like 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, something like that. Okay,
Mm, mm,
even travelers for 1 day or 2 day or probably a week or so used to just stay with us, and it was a lot of fun. It was a very fun project. We used to meet people from all over the world. I personally got a chance to meet people from 85 plus different countries,
oh,
around 1300, 1300 plus people from 85 plus different countries, which I got a chance to meet over 1 year. Okay,
mm,
I met many people, and it was a very exciting journey. We used to go to parties, we used to organize small tours. It was
mm,
a fun journey. Okay,
mm,
but after meeting so many people, around 1200 plus people, we realized that there was a lot for us to do in the travel industry. Okay, we felt that we as entrepreneurs were not achieving our full potential. We were stuck in this thing called backpacking homestay or hostel. Okay,
okay.
because there was so much work, there was so much logistic work. So that every day there was so much work involved that
Mm,
we could not do anything else. Okay. Meanwhile, we got an opportunity to meet so many people, so we saw the problems also which they faced. To
mm,
give you an example, there was a boxer from Australia who
okay.
came to India back in 17, right?
Mm,
And the moment he stepped in India, he was treated, he was duped, he was given 1 rupee in exchange for $1. Okay,
okay.
and somehow, one way or the other, some person helped him out, and then he reached our homestay, the Tarzan House, and he was really scared the entire 1 month which he stayed. Okay, I asked him, hey man, you wanna go out with me? Go out for a party at night, because everyone was going to the party. We used to have a lot of parties. Okay, he
Mm,
said, no, India is unsafe in the morning. How can I go out at night? That was a very hurtful statement for me being an Indian and being one person who was actually handling his entire experience.
okay.
So I felt really bad at that point. Adding to that, there was one couple who came to Delhi back in 2017 only, right? And at that time, there was a lot of smog in Delhi, smoke plus fog. There was a lot of smog, and there was a lot of, because of Diwali and everything. Okay,
Mm,
and a taxi driver told them that Delhi is closed. Okay, because of the smoke and everything, you'll have to go to Agra with us, because the pollution Delhi is closed. You'll have to go to Agra with me. And that taxi driver charged them 25,000 per person just to go to Agra, just from airport Delhi to Agra, right? So
okay.
this is the kind of problems that people faced. Okay,
Mm,
and us being able to see those problems and talk to those people who face those problems, we felt that we needed to do something different. We felt that there was so much, there was so much lack of transparency, that we wanted to focus on bringing transparency, bringing information, making it easily accessible for travelers. Okay,
mm,
there was this group of friends from Chennai who came to Delhi. They paid a lot. They paid 35,000 for their package per person, and that was a company with high ratings on TripAdvisor. And they did nothing in Delhi. They just went to one or two places. Okay, so we felt that travel is one industry which is so messed up because people never know what they are getting. People never know what they are paying and what they are getting. Okay.
True.
Even right now, you can ask anyone. No one would say, "Okay, Make My Trip is my favorite company to travel. Whether I find a cheap package or not, I'm gonna go with Make My Trip." Okay, never, no one's gonna say that.
Mm,
Secondly, whatever package you find cheapest, whatever thing you can find cheapest, you're gonna get your hands on that because that's what travel industry is. Because you don't trust anyone in the industry. You don't trust anyone while traveling.
true.
Okay. Meanwhile, but on the other hand, while you're traveling, you're gonna spend a lot of time. You're gonna because obviously it's something which you're spending on. You're gonna spend money on souvenirs, food, whatever you want.
Mm,
But while booking a package, while getting a package, you're gonna find the cheapest thing possible because you do not trust anyone. Okay, that led us to believe that we wanted to make a difference in the industry. And back in January 18, we took a major and tough decision, and we closed down the Tarzan House. That was our first venture, first startup. We closed it down. We
okay.
went back to our whiteboard. We went back to planning and everything. Right?
Mm,
And sadly we even expanded. So we expanded the Tarzan house back in October, and we took a tough decision to close in January, right?
mm,
So we were under a loan as well because we were working on loan at that time. Okay, and we started this Tarzan Way venture with a loan. So that was a long journey. Then we started out with little things, small things. We started out with first experience that was volunteer and travel in India. That was a very affordable experience that costed around $400 for
mm,
42 days in India, right? That was very inexpensive, very that's around 20,000 for 4 weeks, for 42 days, 6 weeks in India, right?
mm, mm,
In that experience, a traveler can actually volunteer and travel to different parts of the country. So that's how we started. Then we added a new experience, life of a villager. Then we realized probably we can actually create experiences for our users manually, right? So we used to ask them to fill a questionnaire, and we used to create a plan for our users. Okay. Then
mm,
we thought that probably this thing can be done with artificial intelligence. Okay,
mm.
to actually reduce the time to build plans and everything. So slowly and slowly over a period of time, it was never about one moment or one instance or one thought. It was always about the journey form. That's a little bit about my journey.
I think that is a very interesting journey, and the instances you shared were really interesting. So, based on that, what you mentioned, and I also have personally felt is there is a lot of gap in the market. Transparency is just one part of it. Then there is affordability, and then there is convenience. Trust is also issue. So there is a lot of gap in the travel industry, especially in India. What do you suggest our fellow entrepreneurs who have some dreams to get started on
Okay.
their venture, especially in
Some
India?
points.
What are the gaps they can
Yeah. One.
and they can just try to solve
Of
the
course. So one thing which I have, and one thing which I would tell everyone. I mean, any entrepreneur who might be watching this or looking at it, that start soon and start small. Okay.
problem.
We are under the impression that entrepreneurship. So I wrote an article on LinkedIn, so you can probably check it out. That people start entrepreneur. There are like a lot of wrong reasons to actually become an entrepreneur. Okay, some people are under the impression that as an entrepreneur you can just earn a lot of, you can raise a lot of funds by investors and everything, and then you'll be very rich. Okay,
Mm,
a lot of people are under the impression that they can be celebrities as entrepreneurs. A lot of people are under the impression that they can actually,
mm,
probably they're bored of their jobs and then they want to be entrepreneurs. Okay,
mm,
there are a lot of wrong reasons to actually become wrong. I wouldn't say wrong, but inadequate reasons to become an entrepreneur because it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of time. Even working 100-hour work weeks, there's going to be team to manage. So there's going to be a lot of work. Okay, but if you can start small and if you can start soon, if you do not think much, just start soon, start small, and when you're starting small, keep making changes while you're working, and
mm,
soon you'll be able to grow. And if not, then you'll realize that this is not the right way to go. Okay,
mm, mm,
if your ultimate goal is to get rich, entrepreneurship may not be the right option for you
mm,
because when you become an entrepreneur, it's not easy to raise funds. It's not easy to start. Initially, you'll have to pay other salaries. You'll have to pay operational expenses. You'll have to pay administrative expenses, and after that, if some money is left, that's gonna be your salary. Okay.
mm,
Secondly, if your ultimate goal is to become famous, then entrepreneurship may not be the right option for you. Okay, because famous people, eh, there are like millions of entrepreneurs in the entire world, but only a few are famous. Jeff Bezos and one or two others, or Ritesh Agarwal probably from Oyo or something, because they have the charisma. Steve Jobs, he has the charisma to be famous, right?
mm,
And if you want to be famous, then focus on your skills. Probably focus on art, music or something which you are really talented in, and then you can work along those lines. Again, if you want to be ultimately very, very rich, then focus on investment banking, because that is a much safer, less risky option to become, very rich. Okay.
mm,
Then if you're bored of your job, then that's no reason to actually just become an entrepreneur, because it's not always going to be very interesting. A lot of motivational speakers will meet and say, "Oh, I wake up every day at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 8 a.m., 6 7, sorry, 6 7 in the morning, and I do this and that," right? But that's not true. That's not true for everyone.
mm,
Okay. Of course, I wake up at 7 a.m. every day, but there are some days when I really, have to fight myself. I feel no, okay, I just want to sleep. I'll wake up at 8. Right? I tend to, be kind to myself. And it's not always, you're not always motivated. You're not always energetic. You're going to be having a lot of low points. It's going to be monotonous, even much more monotonous as a job, much more monotonous than a job.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
Your job might be more interesting than entrepreneurship, because there are so many factors, there are so many things you have to do which you don't like. Okay. A lot of time I used to personally contact so many people every day, and I'm not that person who likes to. I'm more of an introvert, to be very honest, right?
mm,
But I have to do that. And again, so you're going to be doing things which you don't like, so never start if you're bored of your job or something. Lastly, if you really want to probably solve a problem, or if you're interested in creating new products, building new things, if you want to make an impact in one industry, or if you can see something which you want to solve, then probably you should focus on entrepreneurship, because that will be the right and adequate reason for you to start.
mm,
And that is one thing which is going to be staying for you with long. Okay. A lot of other things are materialistic things do not stay for long. They do not make you take all those risks. They do not make you spend that much amount of time for one thing.
mm,
They do not make you sacrifice so much. Startup is like a baby. You need to sacrifice a lot of things. Okay.
mm.
If you have an inadequate reason to start, it's not going to stay for long. You need to find your right reason. And secondly, start small and start soon. So that's going to be some advice from my end.
Okay. Uh, Now, would like to know what was your first day into entrepreneurship like? If I were to make a movie out of your life, how would be the opening sequence like?
Opening sequence would be probably, I think, three or four friends sitting in McDonald's talking about the kind of ideas they can implement, or the kind of work they can chip in. Then three or four friends at one friend's home, again, planning and everything, calling and everything. Three
Mm,
friends, college friends, rushing out of college, running, probably, sitting in the metro, changing a bus or something, then taking another metro and, you know, reaching this friend's house, and then again planning all those things.
mm,
Then you can probably, you can probably skip the. So a lot in movies they try to use songs to actually, you know, move past the long monotonous time. So you can put put in a song and you can move past a lot of time, and then you can rush to the first hostel when we were doing the painting and everything. So that's
mm,
gonna be nice. We were always energetic, always talking about, what else can we execute, what else can we do. Okay, we can do this as well, we can do this as well. Why not do this? Why not do that?
mm,
Okay. And then we realized, okay, we need to note down these points. So then we started noting down. So that is something which you can do, some friends talking and planning and very energetic about things. And then, hustling a lot, moving back from here and there, here to there, and
mm.
then actually finding something
Okay.
suitable for us.
I
And a
think
lot of failures. Honestly, yeah, of course.
I
No,
think
no, go
many of the co-founders mentioned that they started this McDonald's discussion. You also mentioned. Uh,
on.
Very interesting. Something there is something with McDonald's. I should go there more
Of
often.
course.
Uh,
CCD as well. CCD, Cafe Coffee Day as well. I
uh,
have spent personally more than 14 hours in Cafe Coffee Day and Starbucks working. So, I mean, that can also be one of the points. Starbucks and CCD and so on. Yeah.
Shikhar,
Already you were saying.
tell us about your co-founders. How did you meet them?
Okay.
How did it all happen?
So, as I mentioned, I was in college when I started. So, I had three co-founders
Mm,
initially for my first venture, and two of them left in like 2 months. So,
mm,
I only had one co-founder all along. That was his name was Arjun. He was my co-founder. We were doing somewhat of an internship together earlier in this probably internship volunteership. You can say we were volunteers at this NGO earlier, actually, right? We used to deal with international travelers and international students, and then we thought that probably we should start this journey together. Right? Initially, four started, two of them left in 2 months, and two were left. Right? And two of us worked together from December 2006. Sorry,
mm,
I think October 2016 to August 2019. Right? He recently left back in September 2000. So we worked for 3 years. We used to live together for 3 years, and it was a really nice journey. He was one person who was really passionate. He was
mm,
really gutsy. He used to take a lot of decisions very easily, right? And he is a college dropout, in fact. So he did not feel that he was learning something at college, so he thought of dropping out. I mean, that is the kind of person he is. If he does not like something, he says, "Okay, I'm not giving my 100%. I'm not gonna do this." So
mm,
he's that kind of person. Okay. So yeah, I mean, he left the Tarzan Way as well back
mm,
in September 2019, recently only. That was a tough phase for me because living together and working together for some person for past 3 years, that is one thing which is hard to let go. But he really gave his heart and soul to the Tarzan Way. He used to work for 16, 17 hours straight. He did not sleep some nights. Right? We together have worked all nights a lot of times. So it was a really, and it was a lot of professional kind of journey which I had with him. We had a lot of fights as well. Obviously, I mean, it's very common living with someone for 3 years. You're gonna be having fights and everything. But in the end, the good part was that we were friends. We were
mm.
friends, so we actually understood each other. So that was one good thing which we had. So that's a bit about my co-founder.
Okay. So my question is, how does it feel when your co-founders walk away from the venture? It, in a way, it devalidates your idea, and also, you feel,
Um, uh,
yeah, go on.
Everyone has his or her own reasons. Okay, for him, he was actually facing depression for a long time because of the kind of, because there's a lot of pressure involved. Okay? There's kind of a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stress, a lot of failures which are involved, a lot of hard work which is involved, and dedicating most of your life for one thing, a lot of your life for one thing is something which uh, you know which causes a lot of problems, a lot of mental health problems as well. Okay, he still believes that the Tarzan Way can actually achieve greater heights. Okay,
Mm,
but he was facing depression. He could not work. He could not get up from his bed for some time.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
and I mean, I also personally feel that if I had a better relationship or at a personal level with him, I
mm,
could have supported him much more at the earlier times, which I did not. So that is some fault of my own as well, which I
mm,
accept and agree, and could not apologize more for it.
mm, mm,
So if I had a more personal relationship, I could have avoided this whole thing. But there was so much stress. There's so much stress involved in someone's head you cannot even imagine. Okay,
okay.
and for him also it was one of the hardest decisions he made because dedicating so much time, so many years to something. A startup, as I mentioned, is like a baby. Okay, and it's
Mm,
like just walking away from it. So even for him it was a very tough decision. Okay, and at that time I tried a lot to convince, but I knew that he could not continue or work further because of the
mm,
problem which he was facing.
mm,
So yeah, that was. So it's not always about devaluating the idea, or probably not someone not being interested for the same. I mean, a lot of investors also ask me if he walked out, how do you feel about it? So I, of course, I did not feel good about it. I felt
mm.
really bad, but again I felt bad for my friend as well because it was a very tough decision for him.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of people face a lot of problems, and you got to sometimes accept and move on.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
how does the dynamics change when a co-founder leaves? For example, you are four co-founders, and you'd have a divided work amongst yourselves. For example, somebody is
Okay.
looking after marketing, somebody is looking after the operations, and let's say the operation guy leaves or the marketing guy leaves. What happens then?
Okay. So we usually have this system of transitions. Initially we were four co-founders, two left in 2 months, so that was not a big deal for us because they did not even start working by then, right? But when my co-founder who was working with me for like 3 years,
Hmm.
when he left, situation became very difficult, very grave for me actually.
Hmm.
So at that time, I never expected anyone, at this position to leave. Okay, so we did not have a very fixed transition system. Okay,
Hmm.
but I had a word with him. I had a long call with him. I had a long meeting with him, and I tried to understand everything which he was doing. Okay, and then I took over his work for some time. Okay,
Hmm.
and then I started delegating the same. Okay, but after that point, we created a very fixed transition program where a person has to deliver specific transitions before leaving, change specific passwords before leaving, do a certain amount of things before leaving to ensure that everything is passed on to the next person who's will be taking over. So now we have something fixed, but at that time it became very difficult and very messed up. But yeah, we figured it out in a month or something. So yeah, it took time, but it worked out.
Okay. And can you tell us about building the core team? What is the process like? Finding co-founders is difficult, I agree. But then, after you have found your co-founders, how do you hire the level two who are gonna execute the thing?
Okay, all right. So for that, it's actually a mix and match of a lot of things, starting from the person's experience, the person's skills, the person's education, the person's values.
Hmm.
How important is it for someone's values to match with companies? That was something which we look at. Connection. How do you connect with the person? Okay. It's a lot like, when you talk to the person, there's a spark in the conversation and you realize that this person might be right. Okay. I don't know how to explain it, but when you're talking to someone, it's just an instinct that tells you that this person is going to be the right one. Okay. So
Hmm.
right now we're focusing and trusting on our instincts. Then that person actually works with us for some time on probation, 6 months or 8 months or 10 months, right? As the core team, as a part of the core team. We see how much leadership initiative that person is taking. It's a lot about every person in our company works like an entrepreneur. Okay, from A to
Hmm.
B to C, everyone works like an entrepreneur. Okay, they
Okay.
try to prepare their own learning curve. They try to learn things from time to time. They try to focus on you know achieving the maximum out of from their tasks. They try to keep doing testing and improving from time to time. So that
Hmm.
is something which we are really implementing. That everyone works as a leader.
Okay.
Talking about the core team and finding the core team, it's a mix and match of multiple things: experience, education, values, whatever, and then a probation of 6 months where we analyze the person's where we analyze the person on basis of three things. We analyze the person's growth actually on the basis of three things. That is core performance, the kind of KPIs and KRs the person is executing.
Hmm.
Second thing is initiatives, the kind of initiative the person is taking, the kind of ideas the person is bringing on the table. And
Hmm.
finally, third is learning curve.
Hmm.
Okay, learning curve. So if I have a learning curve, I'll add probably 5 or 7 things which I want to learn over the next 2 months, and I'm going to learn them and execute them accordingly. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's how we focus on selecting the core team.
Okay. And many of the fellow entrepreneurs would like to know what is the process of raising an investment uh, for a founder.
Okay, all right.
Hmm.
So process of raising an investment. So a lot of people are romanticized and fantasized again, the word for the idea of raising funds.
Hmm.
Okay, honestly, it's not a very easy, not a very easy thing. I'd say it's a difficult thing with a lot of different aspects are involved in the same. Okay, you need to realize that the moment you're gonna raise funds, your company is gonna be at a very different position. That person is gonna eat your head like
Hmm.
never before. Okay, that is something which is gonna happen. Okay, if you have started, if you have become an entrepreneur, another wrong reason which I did not mention earlier.
Hmm.
If you say, and a lot of people say this, okay, you'll hear like you talk to 10 people, you ask them the reason to become an entrepreneur, they're gonna say, I like to work for myself. Okay,
Okay.
so that is something which is not gonna happen. Okay,
Okay.
you're never gonna be your own boss as an entrepreneur. You're gonna be working for the investors, you're gonna be working for the employees, you're gonna be working for the team, you're gonna be working for the customers and so on. Okay,
Hmm.
so if anyone tells you, hey, I want to work for myself, I want to be an entrepreneur, so sorry, but that's not something which is not gonna happen. Okay,
Okay.
raise funds, idea is never gonna raise funds until unless your idea is like the cure to cancer or something.
Hmm.
Okay, so unless your idea is either cure to cancer or probably a rocket to go to Mars, not even the rocket to go to Mars. If your idea is to cure cancer or something, then it might raise funds at early stage, but at idea stage, most companies do not raise funds. Okay,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
need to go past that stage. Okay, the next stage is the validation stage, the MVP stage, you can call it. So at that time, you gather a small team, you get the minimum necessary requirements, and then you build whatever you can get. Whatever basic thing which you can build. In the between, you can also prepare a demo or something, or probably a design or something to show. Probably that might help. Once we have the MVP, if again your product is really amazing and your MVP is really amazing, then and you personally have started a company before, or probably you have some nice goodwill or something,
Hmm.
and you have a plan to raise, plan to get a lot of customers in future. Go ahead, definitely try to raise funds. That you might raise some good amount of funds.
Hmm.
But some people like to move past that stage and get customers as well.
Hmm.
Get some customers, get some surveys and get some customers on board. See
Okay.
how much they are repeating, how much referrals they're getting.
Hmm.
Okay, with your basic product, with the basic product. Okay, and prepare a plan for future, and then try to raise fund. Okay,
Hmm.
Some people achieve this stage and raise funds. Maximum amount of entrepreneurs raise funds at this stage where they have got a few customers, they have their MVP ready and everything. Okay.
Okay. So
Some entrepreneurs.
here is a question. Your customers are, you have some trial customers and your MVP is ready. And you have done the internal work, whatever numbers or figures that is required by an investor to see how the startup is. How do I reach out to an investor? Where do I find these investors? And
Okay,
what
okay.
is the process?
I mean, it's very easy, not much to do here. You prepare a pitch deck, you prepare a progress report, you prepare a progress report, probably what kind of work you've done before. You
Hmm.
prepare your, demo or whatever video you want to prepare, and then you just probably reach out to them. So you Google the kind of investors there are. Google top 10, top 50 investors in the country. Okay, you read about them, you read what they're doing, exactly what they're doing. You figure out if they are the ones who will be investing in your company or not. Okay, who have invested in similar kind of industries or not. That is one major reason. If the person is probably investing in hospitality, then he might invest in travel, something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Then you reach out to those people through email or LinkedIn or any other platform. You can probably email or LinkedIn are two suitable platform which I'd suggest. Or better than that, most of the investors, they have their VC forms or they have their teams. Okay,
Okay.
so you just go to their website and then you apply accordingly. You apply for your whatever you want to apply for. Okay,
Hmm.
moreover you can apply for some competitions that will raise investors eyes and something like that, so you can actually reach out to them there. Then the networking events are also one other idea to actually go ahead and go to networking events and raise funds. So yeah,
Hmm.
competitions, networking events and raise funds, or probably reach out to them on LinkedIn or email, and or probably apply on their own website. So these are a few ways to raise funds. The first you have a small what do we say, small section of, they'll be screening your application. Then there'll be 3 or 4 rounds of interviews, exchanges and so on. Then we'll be giving the financials and everything, and then you raise funds. So this is the whole procedure.
Okay.
Yeah, not like Shark Tank or shows where they have this one
What is your vision, Shikhar? Tell us in a sentence.
meeting. Okay, to innovate and simplify travel.
Okay. No, you can elaborate a little bit.
Okay, so we have a vision to innovate and simplify travel. Innovate through our unique and immersive experiences. Simplify through our AI-based platform to get bookings in a click, itineraries in seconds, and 24/7 customer support. Again, if you talk about a bigger picture, then we're trying to build an augmented reality and AI-based platform. If you have played Pokemon Go, you'll realize what is AI, augmented reality. You connect your virtual screen to your real world, okay? And through that, you want to give the entire information, okay? If you're visiting a monument, the audio guide, the video guide, the tips, tricks, recommendations, and so on will be mentioned. The nearby restaurants, the nearby plans, itineraries, the tours around will be mentioned, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The daily plans and everything. So we want to be building an AR and AI based app in future. Right now we are focusing on simplifying and innovating travel through the current opportunities which we have. Moreover, adding to both of this, we want to instill youth leadership by opening them up to new experiences. We want to create unique experiences for those who are unable to travel due to different discrimination of gender, age, sexuality, physical and mental disabilities as well. So we want to create experiences for them. We want to bridge the cross-cultural gap by giving in more information. So if you're traveling abroad, we want to making sure that the information is so much curated and so much easy to understand that you can be traveling like you're traveling domestic. So yeah, these are a few mission statements which we have.
Who is your role model when it comes to entrepreneurship?
Um, okay, role model. I'd say for me, my role model would be specifically okay, Brian Chesky from Airbnb. Specifically, Airbnb, because it's an amazing company. They started as design students who actually worked ahead for a travel-based company. So, and they tried different strategies. They tried many different strategies. They sold Obama O cereal to actually raise funds for themselves.
Right.
So this is something very exciting initiative. So that's something which I would prefer Brian Chesky for now. Yeah,
How do you compare entrepreneurship with a 9 to 5 job?
the 9 to 5 job on to okay. So I mean, I would say that. Even today, 9 to 5 jobs are not 9 to 5 jobs anymore. People are
Mm,
working
mm,
late till night and everything.
mm,
Okay. Uh, Talking about entrepreneurship, I mean, if you are a person who's working in a startup, right? Or probably if you're working in a company and you're motivated for the vision of that company, you
Hmm.
feel like you're solving a problem, you feel like you're making a difference,
Hmm.
and you're willing to chip in as much as you can, then
Hmm.
there's no difference between a 9 to 5 job and an entrepreneurship. So, I mean, you can create those differentiations, you can create those segregations, you can keep these things far away, you can romanticize the idea of entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
but it's a lot like a job. Okay.
Okay.
But you're driven for the mission, you care about what you do.
Hmm. So, one last question. What is your final message to potential entrepreneurship of this country?
Okay. Again, final message would be start small, but start as soon as possible. Okay. If you think today, you'll keep thinking tomorrow, and you'll keep thinking the day after, and you'll keep thinking, all the days that are gonna come. But if you start small, you'll have the opportunity to start right now, and you can see where it goes. So do not miss that chance.
Mm. I think many of the entrepreneurs say that getting started is a 50% work done.
Of course, probably you can definitely say that. I mean, if you never start, you never know. If you never know what could have, what would have. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure to host you at ELI, and
of course.
our audience would have got lifetime lessons from this video. Thanks for your time, Shikhar, and our best wishes for Tarzan
Okay,
Way.
of course. You too, Priya. Have a good day and all the best for ELI. Wonderful initiative. Okay, nice to talk to you. Have a good day. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Goodbye.